transfer to Manchester United today.
Football prediction.
Power Rangers nil, Ipswich Town 1.
A football prediction.
Hello, it's Peter Guest, and I'm here with my friend The Moose for another episode of the footballpredictions.net Spanish La Liga podcast, covering matches for the 2nd to the 5th of May 2025. And you can see the details for all the matches we're about to discuss in this podcast if you click the links in the description, and it'll take you to footballpredictions.net, and there you can see fixtures from just about every other football competition in the world as well, from A to Z. Yes, and on our website, it'll show you where to watch the games on local broadcast channels, plus video streaming services, as well as team news and match odds from local bookmakers. Look in the description of this podcast episode for direct clickable links to all of the matches we're about to discuss. If you're streaming any matches on Bet365, geolocation and live streaming rules apply. 18 plus, gamble aware. Okay, let's kick off with Rayo Vallecano, who are 11th, taking on Getafe, who are 12th. It kicks off on Friday, the 2nd of May, 8 p.m. And you can go click the link in the description. You'll be able to find this match. And then you can see your localized kickoff time, odds, and broadcast streaming options. Like, for example, in the UK here, you'll be able to see this one's available on Premier Sports Extra, La Liga TV, Premier Sports 2 and 1, and also, of course, you can stream it on Bet365, and all you need to watch it there is any funds in your account, or to have placed a bet with them in the last 24 hours. And by the way, use the bonus code FP365 when you do sign up. Well, Moose, it's 11th versus 12th, but both of these sides haven't won for a few weeks, have they? Yeah, they're both out of form, and they're most likely going to finish in that mid-table scrap, which is going to lead to neither Europe or any relegation threat. So it's going to be an interesting contest, let's say it like that. But yeah, Vallecano at home and in general, they've only won 1 out of their last 10 matches overall. And at home, they have no wins in 5. So yeah, they aren't exactly looking great at the moment. Last weekend, they played at Atletico Madrid. We had Atletico to win. It ended up 3-0. In the last home game, 1-1 draw against Valencia. We had both teams to score in that game. And yeah, then Vallecano lost at Bilbao, and they took a heavy beating as well at home to Espanyol, 4-0 in that game. So yeah, they've taken a few heavy defeats over the last couple of weeks. That 4-0 defeat at Vallecano, at home to Espanyol, then away to Bilbao, 3-1, and then last weekend a 3-0 defeat at Atletico Madrid. But if we look at Getafe, they're not looking much better. They've only won 1 from their last 5, and that was against Valladolid, who are bottom of La Liga. So you would think that they could manage them, but then they lost the other 4 matches, including last weekend. It was a narrow home defeat to Real Madrid. They lost that one 1-0, and then prior to that, they had a 1-0 defeat at Espanyol, and then a 3-1 home defeat to Las Palmas. So yeah, 3 defeats in a row now for Getafe. But going into this game, obviously, maybe both will pick up points, but there's going to be points on the boards for either of these teams. Yeah, and like you said, at this end of the season, does it really matter, this kind of game? We're not really sure. I know this. Vallecano haven't lost a league tie with Getafe in their last 7 games. You know, a couple of those last 2 have been draws, I think. They're also without a home win in the last 5 league matches, so their fans are getting a bit restless, and we think they might deliver on this occasion. We've gone for a Vallecano win, 2.35 is the odds you can get for that. We've also gone for a side tip of under 2.5 goals, but that's only odds of 1.4s. Yeah, you might be a bit better off, or in the odds that is, for a Vallecano win at home. And just looking at our correct score prediction, height, we think it will be, and we've gone for 1-0 to the home side. Odds there, 5.5 for a correct score. Not that great for a correct score, really, is it? Other top odds for this match, which might interest you, a draw 3, also quite low for a draw, which indicates that it is going to be tight. Getafe to win 3.4. So, yeah, tricky one. One you might even want to stay away from a little bit. But let's have a look at the next game. Alaves in 17th, taking on Atletico Madrid in 3rd. It's on Saturday, the 3rd of May. It's at 1 p.m. UK time kickoff. Click the link in the description. You always find the matches that we have in the description, and you'll be able to find your local kickoff time, odds, broadcast streaming channels for this match. For example, it'll tell you that in the UK anyway, it'll tell you wherever you are where you can see this match. But in the UK, you can watch this one on Premier Sports Extra, La Liga TV, and Premier Sports 1. And you can also stream it on Bet365. All you need there to watch it on the live stream for them is any funds in your account, anything, or just to have placed a bet with them in the last 24 hours. By the way, use the joining code, bonus code FP365. So it's a bit of a checkerboard, isn't it? I mean, I know Alaves are in 17th and Atletico are in 3rd, but actually it's the records over the last 3 or 4 games aren't too dissimilar.
No, that is correct. I mean, look at Alaves has a really mixed record. If we look at the last 9 games, it couldn't be more even. It's like 3 wins, 3 draws, and 3 defeats, and they pretty much come in sequences like that as well for Alaves. A defeat, then a draw, then a win. Last weekend did offer them a win. That was at home to Real Sociedad. We predicted Alaves to win that game. They won 1-0, and that came on the back of a draw away to Sevilla. That ended 1-1. We then had a correct score prediction when Alaves played at home to Real Madrid. We had 1-0 Real Madrid in that game, and it ended a 1-0 Real Madrid. But yeah, it's a very mixed bag of results from Alaves, and very unpredictable as well. Even when we look at the teams that they beat, the 3 wins over those 9 games have come away to Girona and then at home to Villarreal, and then last weekend at home to Real Sociedad. If we look at the away team, Atletico Madrid, they have drifted too far off to have any chance to play for the championship, but theoretically they could still. They're 10 points behind Barcelona in 3rd position, but 10 points up with just 5 matches to go. It's probably unrealistic for them to have any hopes of winning that championship, unless something really extraordinary is going to happen. And you still have Real Madrid in between the 2 sides. So Atletico Madrid pretty much secured a spot in next year's Champions League. They have 11 points down to Villarreal before this game. So this really is just a case of Atletico trying to just get home and dry for that possibly 3rd spot. They are in fairly decent form. They won 3 from the last 4 matches. Last weekend, they beat Vallecano quite comfortably 3-0 at home, but their last away game did end up in a defeat of 1-0 at Las Palmas. So still a bit tricky with Atletico. They went to Las Palmas as favorites. We had under 2.5 goals as our main prediction, but it ended 1-0 Las Palmas in that game. So tricky one for Atletico. Prior to that, we did have 3 outcomes correct on Atletico. The home win against Valladolid, and we also had both teams to score in that one. It ended 4-2, and then 2-1 at Sevilla. And then in the Copa del Rey, we predicted the correct score. Barcelona 1, Atletico Madrid 0. So yeah, but going into this game, probably Alaves decide who has the most to play for.
Yes, indeed. And yeah, we're looking at Alaves. They have scored under 3 goals per game in 5 out of the last 6 games. You can probably tell where I'm going to go with this. And they're at home. So they're very defensive as a unit. They've, in the last game that they won 1-0, they had 37% possession. So they're happy to give it up to the opposition. And yeah, we did predict them to win that game by a goal. So in this one, we are thinking that, well, Atletico might be a bit too strong for them, but we're still going for the under 2.5 goals for our tip. 1.53, that's the odds you can get for that. Atletico to win, you can actually get better odds at 2.1. And I'll just give you a correct score as well. We think it's going to be 1-0 to Atletico, and odds there you can currently get for 6. That's with most of the bookies, some 5.5, but 6 it's showing at Bet365. You see all these comparisons on our website, by the way. So yeah, that's what we think is going to happen. Just looking at the other odds, we've got Alaves 3.7, the draw 3.2, and like I said, Atletico you can get currently for 2.1. Right, let's move on to our next match, which is Villarreal taking on Osasuna. Villarreal are in 5th and Osasuna are in 8th. It's on Saturday, 3rd of May, 3:15 UK time in the afternoon. And of course, click the link in the description of this podcast and you can go to our site where you'll find your localized kickoff time, odds and broadcast streaming options available to you. This one in the UK is available on Premier Sports and La Liga TV. It's also on Bet365. To stream it, all you need is any funds in your account. Could be £1, could be $1, €1, or to have placed a bet with them in the last 24 hours. And do use the bonus code FP365 when you sign up. Now, Villarreal had a loss a couple of weeks ago to Celta Vigo, comprehensive one, which we predicted. But they're back on track and they've got a good record. But having said that, Osasuna have been on a storming run. They've not lost since March.
Yeah, this is going to be a really tricky test for Villarreal because they are actually looking at European places. They're sitting in 5th. They're 1 point above Real Betis. And that defeat at Celta Vigo actually meant that Celta Vigo moved closer towards Villarreal, but they are 9 points ahead of Celta Vigo in 7th. Villarreal still have a chance of Champions League. They got 5 points up to Bilbao, but even though their form of late has been a little bit more consistent overall, if we do look at the last 10 games, they've also been very inconsistent. 4 wins, 3 draws, and 3 defeats for Villarreal over the course of the last 10 games. And if we look at the last 3, it's been a win, a defeat, and a draw. So quite some inconsistencies there. See there, it's not what you need at this point of the season, especially not if you want to play Champions League next season. You need to put a string of wins together. We have got 5 games left, and Villarreal, to be fair, it's got a fairly okay schedule apart from a trip to Barcelona in the second to last game round. So if we look at their results last weekend, they bounced back from that defeat at Celta Vigo. They beat Espanyol 1-0 at home. We predicted that because we had under 2.5 goals and Villarreal to win that game. It ended 1-0. We actually predicted the defeat at Celta Vigo as well. Before that, they had a 2-2 draw against Real Sociedad at home, which we had both teams to score in. So yeah, last 3 matches, we've done okay on our predictions for Villarreal, but let's have a look at Osasuna, because Osasuna, despite not really having a lot to play for, have won the last 3 matches in a row. And that is actually the best sequence that they've had all season. They were on a terrible run at one point. They had just 1 win from 18 games going into this little mini run of form of 3 wins in a row, where they've beaten Girona at home, Real Valladolid away, and then last weekend they beat Sevilla at home as well. We predicted the away win at Valladolid, and we had both teams to score in the Girona game. We also had both teams to score and a draw prediction at Leganés, which was the away game just before that Girona game. And we had under 2.5 goals at Bilbao. That in a 0-0 draw for Osasuna, unbeaten in 5. And then we predicted the correct score at Barcelona, where we had 3-0 Barcelona. But yeah, wow, this is not going to be an easy one for Villarreal, who really is the team who has something to play for here. They want to go for the European spots. They pretty much secured that. But yeah, Osasuna is going to be a really tricky test for them.
Yeah, Villarreal, they've got to go for it in this, don't they? So, we think they will, but we think they're going to have to keep Osasuna scoreless if they can. I mean, that's the goal of every team, isn't it? Or the objective anyway. And it can happen. But let's have a look at what odds you can get for that. We've gone for under 2.5 goals. The odds, that's our tip. 2.3 you can get. That's the odds of that. But Villarreal to win, we have 1.55. So they are odds-on favourites to win this game with the bookmakers. And we agree with that. We've gone for a correct score of 2-0. And so we think Villarreal 2, Osasuna 0, and your odds there currently are 8.5. That's with Bet365. Looking at the other odds, Osasuna you can get at 5.75. That's pretty huge, considering the run they've been on, and a draw 4.2. So yeah, you don't get great odds on a Villarreal win for this, but that is where we think it's going to happen. So we've got to predict what we expect. So let us move on to Las Palmas taking on Valencia, who are 14th. Las Palmas in 18th. Saturday, the 3rd of May is when it kicks off. 5:30 UK time kickoff in the evening. And click the link in the description of our podcast and you'll be able to see your localized odds and streaming channels on footballpredictions.net, of course. This one here in the UK, you can watch on Premier Sports, La Liga TV, and also stream it on Bet365. For that, to qualify to watch that, all you need is any funds in your account or to have placed a bet with them in the last 24 hours. Oh, Bruce, could be interesting this game. 18th versus 14th at home. But Las Palmas did lose their last away game, but they found a bit of form, we thought, for a while. And Valencia, you can't really tell what they're going to do. but they don't tend to lose.
No, Valencia's been looking really good this year. In fact, they have just 3 defeats coming back from the winter break. Now, those 3 defeats were against the top 3 sides in the Liga, Real Madrid, Barcelona, and Atletico Madrid. Apart from that, they've then put a good run together, a good run of form. And of late, they're unbeaten in 8 games now, Valencia, going into this game. The last couple of matches have ended in 2 draws, but they've then beaten Sevilla. They went to Real Madrid and beat them 2-1, and they beat Mallorca before they had a 1-1 draw against Girona. So yeah, overall, Valencia is in very good form. Has to be said, during the sequence of games, only 1 game from the last 6 has ended with more than 2.5 goals. So just one of those matches have ended with 3 goals or more. The rest under 2.5 goal games. So there's a little hint maybe for the tip later. But anyway, they are away to Las Palmas, and Las Palmas last weekend dropped back into the relegation zone because they lost away to Bilbao whilst Alaves won their game. And that meant that Alaves went ahead of Las Palmas now. Alaves in 17th, Las Palmas in 18th. So these teams keep sort of changing places at the bottom in that relegation drop zone. It has to be said, if Las Palmas do win this game, they are actually only 4 points off Valencia. So Valencia do not want to sort of, even though they have been in good form, they can't let go. There's still 5 matches to go. They lose this one, it's going to be awfully tight down there. Las Palmas, though, they had the defeat last week. They then had a couple of wins. They beat Atletico Madrid at home. They beat Getafe away. But prior to that, they were on a really bad run, 12 games without a win. Let's not hope they've fallen back into old habits here with that defeat at Bilbao, because this game against Valencia really is a bit, or could offer them a bit of a lifeline with a win.
Yeah, it could be a fascinating game, couldn't it? We've got, just looking at the results of Valencia in the last couple of games, were both 1-1s. But the scores before that, 1-0, 1-2, 1-0, 1-1. And looking at the scores, I know these are just scores, but looking at Las Palmas, last game 1-0, before that 1-0. Okay, there was a 1-3 against Getafe, but they also had the 1-1 against Celta Vigo and the 2-2 against Alaves. So a lot of draws going on and a lot of 1-1s kind of cropping up as well. And we think our tip for this one, given that, is actually both teams to score. Odds are 1.75 for that, but we have gone for a draw, and where you can get really good odds of 3.3. Yeah, we think it's going to be a 1-1. That's our correct score tip. And the odds, you can only get 6 for that, which is surprisingly low, really, 5-1 to get a correct score. But yeah, that's probably how likely it's going to be. Checking out the other odds. So Valencia to win, 2.7. Las Palmas to win, 2.63. So there's nothing in it, is there, in the odds? And hopefully our tip of a draw, getting you 3.4, is going to be, or 3.3 or 4, depends on which bookie, but it's around about that mark at the moment. It's going to be what we think is going to be a really good tip. Fingers crossed. Shall we move on to our summary games now? And Real Valladolid, who are last, take on first placed Barcelona. It's on Saturday, the 3rd of May, 8 p.m. kickoff time. That's UK time. And of course, click the link in the description of the podcast here, and you'll find your localized kickoff time, odds, and TV channels. In the UK, you can watch this on Premier Sports Extra and La Liga TV. Now, you couldn't have teams with more contrasting form, really, here, could you? And we think that's going to continue. We've gone for both teams to score, though, because you do see a lot of that with Valladolid. And with the correct score prediction of Valladolid 1, Barcelona 3.
Yes, moving on to the chasers. Real Madrid in 2nd, which takes on Celta Vigo in 7th. This game is also available on Bet365. And in order to watch, all you need is to have a funded account or to have placed a bet in the last 24 hours. And when you sign up, use that bonus code FP365. And I forgot to mention that this game takes place Sunday, 4th of May at 1 o'clock UK time. Now for this game, we are going to go with a both teams to score prediction. A home win for Real Madrid and a correct score of Real Madrid 2, Celta Vigo 1.
Next, it's Sevilla, who are in 15th, taking on Leganés in 19th. It's on the 4th of May, Sunday that is, 3:15 in the afternoon, UK time. It's on Premier Sports Extra, La Liga TV. They're the options you can get with subscription. Otherwise, you can watch it on Bet365 to qualify for that. All you need is any funds in your account or to place a bet with them in the last 24 hours. Now, two teams who haven't had a lot of success in the last 6 or 7 games or so. And we've gone for both teams to score here. We've gone for a home win to Sevilla, and we've gone for a correct score prediction of 3-1.
Moving on to Espanyol in 13 to take on Real Betis in 6th. This game kicks off Sunday, 4th of May at 5:30 UK time. Another game you can watch on Bet365. And in order to qualify, all you need is to have a funded account or to have placed a bet in the last 24 hours. Use bonus code FP365 on sign up. Now for this game, we're going to go with an away win as our main prediction, but also under 2.5 goals, as we are predicting Espanyol 0, Real Betis 1.
Moving on to Real Sociedad in 10th, taking on Athletic Bilbao in 4th. It's on Sunday, the 4th of May, 8 p.m. UK time kickoff. You can watch it on Premier Sports, Extra, and La Liga TV, but also you can stream it on Bet365. And like we said before, to qualify for that, all you need is any money in your account or to have placed a bet in the last 24 hours. Use the bonus code FP365 when you join. Here, we think that maybe due to being in other competitions, that Athletic Bilbao will take their eyes off the ball here. We think they're going to lose. We've gone for both teams to score, though, as our tip, and we've gone for a correct score prediction of Real Sociedad 2, Athletic Bilbao 1.
Yeah, and finally, Monday night, we got Girona in 16th takes on Mallorca in 9th. This game kicks off at 8 o'clock UK time. Now, again, this game you can watch on Bet365, and in order to qualify, all you need is to have a funded account or to place the bet in the last 24 hours. And please use that bonus code FP365 on sign up. Now, for this game, our main prediction is that both teams to score. It's a home win for Girona and a correct score of Girona 2, Mallorca 1.
Yes, and for those Bet365 matches, of course, geolocation and live streaming rules apply. Full details are available on the Bet365 website. 18 plus, gamble aware.
Yes, and in the description area of this podcast, you can find links to all the matches we've just covered, or simply visit footballpredictions.net. That's where you can find the online places to watch the games from your location via streaming and TV channels, our tips for different betting markets, team news, as well as the best offers and odds.
Yeah, and it's not just La Liga that we cover in our podcast. We also do other competitions, and you can listen to them at podcast.footballpredictions.net or where you usually download your podcast from, Spotify, YouTube, Apple, and all that sort of place. That's it. Thanks for listening. And until the next time, it is adios. Adios, amigo.
Football Predictions.